I never liked the sound of the garbage disposal. It was a harsh, grinding noise that made my skin crawl, but it was a necessary evil, a part of the daily routine in our household. One evening, after a particularly exhausting day at work, I was cleaning up the kitchen after dinner. As I scraped the leftovers into the sink, I hesitated before flipping the switch to turn on the disposal. The sound seemed louder than usual, more aggressive. I watched as the food disappeared into the black hole beneath the sink, feeling a sense of unease. As I turned to leave the kitchen, I heard a strange noise coming from the sink. It was a low, guttural sound, like something was stuck in the disposal. I approached cautiously, peering into the dark depths of the sink. Suddenly, a hand shot out of the drain, grabbing my wrist with a vice-like grip. I screamed, trying to pull away, but the hand was too strong. It dragged me closer to the sink, and I could see the face of a man, his eyes wild and bloodshot, his mouth twisted into a snarl. He was covered in filth and grime, his clothes torn and ragged. "Help me," he croaked, his voice raspy and hoarse. "Please, help me." I was frozen in fear, unable to either move or speak. The man's grip tightened, and I could feel his fingernails digging into my skin. He pulled me closer, his face inches from mine. "I'm trapped," he whispered, his breath hot and foul. "I've been trapped in this hell for years. Please, you have to help me." I tried to pull away, but it was no use. The man's grip was too strong. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, my breath coming in short, sharp gasps. "Please," he begged, his voice growing more desperate. "Please, you have to help me. I can't take it anymore." I closed my eyes, trying to block out the horror of the situation. I could feel the man's grip loosening, and I yanked my arm free. I stumbled backwards, my heart racing, my mind reeling. I never used the garbage disposal again. I never thought much of the garbage disposal. It was just a mundane part of my kitchen, something I used without a second thought. That is, until the night everything changed. It started with strange noises, a low, almost imperceptible hum coming from the sink. At first I dismissed it as my imagination, or perhaps the pipe setting in the old house. But as the days passed, the hum grew louder and more insistent. It seemed to pulse with a strange, unsettling rhythm, as if something was trying to communicate. I tried to ignore it, but it was no use. The hum filled my dreams, turning them into nightmares of dark, swirling waters and unseen things lurking just out of sight. I began to wake up in cold sweats, my heart pounding in my chest. Then came the whispers, soft at first, barely audible over the hum. But as the days turned into weeks, they grew louder and more insistent. I could almost make out words, but they slipped away like smoke when I tried to focus on them. They seemed to be coming from the garbage disposal, as if something was trapped inside, desperate to be heard. I tried to ignore it, but the whispers haunted me day and night. They spoke of dark deeds and terrible secrets, of things that should never see the light of day. I began to fear that I was losing my mind, and that the stress of my life was finally getting to me. But then came the night I will never forget. I was washing dishes, the hum and whispers a constant background noise. Suddenly, the garbage disposal roared to life, grinding and churning with a ferocity that shook the whole house. I tried to turn it off, but it was as if it had a mind of its own. And then I saw it. There was a dark, shadowy figure rising from the sink, its eyes burning with an unholy light. It reached out for me, its claws dripping with something dark and viscous. I screamed and stumbled back, but it was too late. The creature dragged me into the sink, and everything went black. When I awoke, I was alone in my kitchen. The garbage disposal was silent, its hum and whispers gone. But I knew it was still there, waiting for its next victim, and I knew that I would never be the same again. I had always thought the scariest thing in my kitchen was the pile of dirty dishes in the sink. Little did I know that it was about to get a whole lot scarier. It started innocently enough. I was shopping online for a new garbage disposal. My old one had finally given up the ghost, and the sink was starting to smell a bit ripe. I scrolled through the options, looking for something powerful but not too expensive. That's when I saw it. A new model, advertised as the most powerful garbage disposal on the market. The reviews were glowing, but there was something about it that just gave me the creeps. It was just a garbage disposal, I told myself. Nothing to be afraid of. I clicked the Buy Now button, and a few days later, it arrived. I unpacked it carefully, setting it on the counter next to the sink. It was sleek and shiny, almost beautiful in a strange way. I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something off about it still, but I pushed the thought aside. That night, as I was getting ready for bed, I heard a strange noise coming from the kitchen. It sounded like a low growl, almost like a wild animal. I grabbed a flashlight and crept downstairs, my heart pounding in my chest. As I entered the kitchen, the noise grew louder. It was coming from the sink. I peered over the edge, shining the flashlight into the dark depths, and that's when I saw it. A monster, made entirely of garbage disposal parts, was writhing and thrashing in the sink. Its eyes glowed red, and its teeth were sharp and jagged. It growled again, louder this time, and I stumbled backwards in horror. The monster lunged at me, its jaws snapping shut inches from my face. I screamed and ran, but it was fast, so fast. It chased me through the house, smashing through doors and furniture as it went. I made it to the front door and threw it open, running out into the night. Behind me, I could hear the monster roaring in frustration. I didn't stop until I was blocks away, panting and gasping for breath. I never went back to that house. I moved to a new town, got a new job, and tried to forget about the monster in the sink. But I can't shake the feeling that it's still out there, waiting for its next victim. And every time I hear the sound of a garbage disposal, I can't help but shudder.